Seems awful light. Let's start with somebody with a question, unless anybody get them all right. That way I won't look to anybody for. Oh, perfect. Somebody's got to have a question out there. Kayleen, thank you. Which questions?
13.
I was hoping somebody would ask a question about 13. Let's see what it's about. Oh, yeah. Yep. Sure. I guess we might as well do 12 while we do 13. And again, children, you desperately need to, you're going to have to do this on a piece of graph/grid paper here. I'll do it right here just because. You're supposed to graph this parallelogram, correct? By the way, right off the bat, you should understand if you're graphing a parallelogram, what's a parallelogram look like? It could be a rectangle, but they would probably say rectangle if it's a rectangle. So probably the shape you're going to graph is going to look like this. So if you don't get that shape when you graph it, probably you went somewhere astray. So here, let me get an XY axis here. Let's try to graph a couple points. 0, 0 is A. Let's just do that. A is 0, 0. B is 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. That's B. C is 5, 3. Here's 5, 1, 2, 3. And D is 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. So your parallelogram should have looked a lot nicer than mine. It's a little askew. But there's your parallelogram. Then, because somebody's going to ask about problem number 12, unless everybody got it right, the area of a parallelogram, you have the formula is base times height, not length times width, and the base and the height have to be perpendicular. You are not given the perpendicular line, you just need to draw it. Pick any point on that x-axis and go straight up from it, or down from it, whatever. You know, that line right there, how tall is that line? It is 1, 2, 3 units. What's the base? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer to 12 is 12 units squared. Now, for letter D, or 13, which was Kayleen's. If something is dilated by a scale factor of 2, that just means every point is multiplied by 2. So you look at all these points, and you're going to multiply every number by 2. So your new point here is going to be 0, 0. It doesn't change. Your new point here is going to be 8, 0. 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. Your new point here is going to be 10, 6. 8, 9, 10, 6, which is going to be up here somewhere. And this one's going to be, 2, 6. 2, 6, which will be up here somewhere. So your new, what color shall we do? Let's do green. So your new one's going to look like this. It's going to be way up there, way up there, way up there, and way up there. What are the coordinates of the vertex of the image C prime? A, B, C prime is just going to be 10, 6. You didn't have to draw that. You just need to multiply by 2. Sorry, but that's what it is. That was a long answer to a pretty short question, actually. Glum. Let me come up with any other adjectives. Disinterested. Disheartening. Discombobulated. Okay, Ron. 16. The area of the square is 25 square units. What how many units are the diagonal of the square? Well, children, you see this diagonal here, you need that length. How am I going to find the length of that diagonal? Grace, I'm going to. Right, this is a right triangle, as is this up here. Here's a triangle. You are going to use the Pythagorean Theorem because you can figure out how long are the sides. If it's a square, it has an area of 25, towards each side has to be 5. So there is your a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A and b are both 5. So 2 5 squareds, 25 plus 25 equals c squared. 50 equals c squared. What does c equal then if c squared equals 50? Julie? Square root of 50. And unfortunately, if you put the square root of 50, you would be wrong because it's not simplified. You're going to have to break 50 down into what? 2, the square root of 2 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 5. And 2 square roots of 5 give you a normal 5. And that's where the 5 times the square root of 2 comes from. Function of the long weekend. Mr. Ryan Connor.
Did you number 9? No, number 2.
Number 2. A small town occupies a rectangle of land as shown. Express the area of the town in scientific notation. Well, how do you get the area of this? You just need to multiply the 4, is that times 10 to the 6th?
Yes.
Is that what that is? And you're multiplying it by 3 times 10 to the what? 6th? Huh?
5th.
That's a 5? I can't tell what. It is a 6? Is yours unclear too? Is that what the problem was?
It looks like a 5.
Where?
Problem 2.
It looks like a 6 to me. Is that where you went wrong?
I think so.
Anyways, doing it either way, scientific notation multiplication, you multiply the numbers to the left, you get 12. Multiply the numbers to the right, 10 to the 6th times 10 to the 6th is 10 to the, when you multiply things that have exponents together, you add their exponents. So you get 12 to the 12th, which you can't have because it's no longer in scientific notation, so you move the decimal here 1 place back and make it 1.2, and if you go make this one smaller, you have to make that one bigger, and it balances out. So you actually should be 1.2 times 10 to the 13th power. And whatever that is, millimeters squared. Landon?
7.
7. The height of the pyramid with the square base is 4 feet. What's the volume? Well, the first thing we have to know is what's the formula for the volume of a pyramid? Landon? Wait, did you try to do this without finding the volume for the formula, without using the formula for the volume of a pyramid? Well, unfortunately, it's not base times height. Volume of a pyramid, somebody out there is?
1/3.
Right, it's 1/3 the area if this was a rectangular prism, which means you have to find the area of the base, multiply that by the height. That gives you, if this was a rectangular prism, that would give you its volume. And then you have to divide that by 3 or multiply by 1/3, it's all the same thing. So this is pretty simple because the area of the base is 6 times 6, which is 36. The height they told you is 4 feet. And that all gets divided by 3. Now you can multiply that together and get 144 and divide it by 3, or you can take 3 into 36, which goes 12 times, and then 12 times 4 is 48. feet cubed. But again, if you don't have the formula written down, not sure. And that's the same thing it is with the cone, 1/3 of the cylinder. Anything that comes to a point is going to be 1/3 of whatever it is if it doesn't come to a point. What's the point, you ask? Lack of participation. Ava Ritkers, number 10, boys and girls, kids of all ages, is not on this page. Number 10 should be over here. Love number 10. Which x and y pair of numbers is the solution to both equations? Who knows how to do this? Caleb Cook, what do I have to do to problem number 10? Yeah, we're going to have to graph and see where the two lines cross. There are other ways to do it, but you don't know them yet. So, again, you would do this on a piece of graph paper. If I think about it, I'll try to print some up and then just give it to you so you can do it. Otherwise, there's that. How do I graph x plus y equals 6, David? I don't do 6 over and 6 up. Well, what do you mean? Maybe I do. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Okay, yeah. Since these are in standard form, you cover up the y, x is 6, cover up the x, y is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's going to be a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's going to be a dot. That is the graph of that first line. For the second line, here's where you have to be careful. Cover up the x, y is 2. Cover up the y, you have negative x equals 2. And right there, that should scare you because that's not the same as x equals 2. If it's negative, you have to move that negative with the 2, and x should be negative 2. So there's your dot right there. And then you graph that line. The place where those two lines cross, which to me looks like 2 over 4 up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
2 comma 4 is the answer to that. X is 2, y is 4. And you could always check your answer to see if you're right, because look, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 4 minus 2 is 2. You could, by the way, guess and give me those answers, but I will look for that. So don't give me the answer, the right answers without showing me the graph. Then I'll probably be the mean person. Trial and error isn't always right. Logan?
Can you do number 5?
Number 5, kids. 5. Is that down the bottom? Sure it is. Lateral surface area, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is a great one to have notes. LSA. Lateral surface area is the area of the sides of the prism. But the problem is, how do you know what the sides are? Because depending on how you set this thing down, anything could be a side. Sides are not the bases. So if you know what the bases are, you know what the sides are, because the sides are not the bases. What is the shape of the base of that shape? What is the shape of the base of that prism? What is the base here? In the proverbial loaf of bread theory, Alex, it is the? Correct. If you cut this like a loaf of bread, you'd always get triangles like this. So the sides, ladies and gentlemen, you actually have to put this down like this, and the sides would be this. That's a terrible color. This is one side. This bottom that you can't see down here that it's setting on now is one side. And this piece over here that you also can't see is also another side. That just kind of messed up my shapes. Let me erase that. But we have a formula for that. Somebody, the formula for lateral surface area is, for column, perimeter, perm, of base, multiplied by the height. And again, so if our base is the triangle, you have to find the perimeter of this triangle. And I know what my height is. We should probably write that down. What is the height of that shape? Okay, you have to set it on its base, it is 8 high. So the height is 8. The perimeter is the perimeter of the triangle, which is 6, 3, and, what is this? It's like 6, isn't it? Yeah. So the perimeter is 6 plus 3 plus 6. 9 plus 6 is 15, and 15 times 8, 120 centimeters squared. I'm guessing those were the only ones that anybody got wrong. We will do well for Mr. Final Test tomorrow. Oh, wait, Maggie Dervis has a question. Did you say you do the nevermind problem? Madison Woolman has a question. Can I do 11? Is that on this page? Is it over here? Is it above 13? Area of a trapezoid, again, formula for the A of a T. Somebody, area of a trapezoid. Logan is
1/2 base sub 1 plus base sub 2 times height.
base sub 1 plus base sub 2 times the height. And how do you know what the bases are? Load up the bases there. Caitlin Stritzel, the bases are.
10 and 34.
They are not.
No,
10 and 20.
22 and 14.
Why do I know those are the bases? Because the bases have to be parallel to each other. So yes, 14 is a base, 22 is a base. So it's 1/2 of 22 plus 14. And what's the height? Taylor? How do I know it's the height? Because it is. Why is 10 not the height? Or because this one is perpendicular, it's the height. So there's all your numbers. 22 plus 14 is 36. You can take half of however you want to do this. Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 36 is 144. Squared. See, there's a lot of formulas that I can't believe you wouldn't want to write down. Sometimes I don't believe a lot of things. Alex, ladies and gentlemen, number 4. Coin is flipped 4 times. What's the probability of getting a head 4 times? So Alex, basically I would do this. I want the probability of what happening? Getting a head, then getting a head, then getting a head, and then getting a head. The probability of those 4 things happening is the product of each one happening. What's the probability when you flip of getting a head? 1/2. It's the same the second time, 1/2. The same the third time, 1/2, and the same the fourth time. Your probability of all of them happening in that order is 1 over 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1 over 4, 8, 16. 1 in 16 times you should flip and get all 4 heads. I'm almost exhausted. Kamatkins. I would love to do 6. I was hoping from the beginning I would need to do 6. A bag contains 4 red marbles, 3 blue, and 2 yellows, and 1 green. Wow. Did you draw that bag, Cameron?
Yeah.
Was it fun? How many? 4 reds?
Yes.
3 blues?
Yes.
2 yellers? And 1 green. And you want the probability without replacing of drawing 2 blues. Blue and then a blue. And the key there is you're not putting the marble back after you've pulled the first one. Which probability you get in the first blue? How many blues are there? 3 out of how many total marbles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, beautiful. But the gist is this, Cameron. You went in the bag and you pulled out a blue marble. You're not putting that blue marble back in, so the probability for your second draw changes. Now how many blue marbles are there? There's only 2. And how many marbles are left in the bag? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be your probability when you figure it out. I cross cancel. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 2 goes into 10 5 times. The probability is 1 in 15. And Alex out.
19.
19. I'm going to write it big so we can all see it here. X is negative 2, y 3, x 3, y 0. Anybody, first thing you did is what? Somebody going once, going twice. Grace Watson?
I added the exponents under the x and y.
What do you get if you add the x exponents? What's negative 2 and 3?
Just x.
Just x or x to the first, doesn't matter. What do you get when you add the exponents of the y's? 3 plus 0 is y to the third. And that is the answer. You would get the same thing if you changed the negative 2 to a positive 2 by putting it under the thing, but they'd still cross off and still give you that. It's been very informative today. Stritzel!
How do you do number 8?
Number 8. Well, here is what I would do, Caitlin. First thing I do is I make kind of a table of this thing. Here's kind of what this would look like. First term is a 6, second term is 11, third term is 16, fourth term is 21. And then I would put this is your first term, it was a 6, second term is 11, third term is a 16, fourth term is whatever there. Then I would just check this little thing and see if it works. In other words, these, the top numbers are your n's. So if I take n plus 5, does that give you this? Does 2 plus 5 give you that? No, so you can cross that one off. So now we do this one. Does 1 times 5 plus 1 give you 6? Does 2 times 5 plus 1 give you 11? 3 times 5 plus 1 give you 16? 4 plus 5 plus 1 give you 21? Yeah. And if you like, you can check these. You know, does 6 times 1 minus 1 give you 6? No. Does 5n times 6 give you this? Yes. Does n times 6 give you that? No. So by process of elimination, you can do that. That's probably the best way for it now. Don't let me bore any of you. Oh, too late. Well then, we already did 18, didn't we? Oh, no. Somebody 18? David, what am I going to do 18? Oh, I would cross multiply. I would take this times this, 1.5 times n, multiply this times this, 0.3 times 25. What is 0.3 times 25? Well, 3 times 25 is 75 with 1 decimal point. And then what's going to be your last step? Divide 7.5 by whatever's in front of the n. 1.5. So it's 7 into 15, which is, or 15 into 75, which is 5. I hope. Yeah? 5. Uneventful. Cabron, could I? So far, so good. Absolutely. And here's the deal with this one, people. You could just multiply these together and then break it down. 3 times 2, the normal numbers times the normal number gives you 6. 5 times the square root of 10 is the square root of 50. But then you have to try to simplify it from there. What times what gives you 50? We already had this all the time. Square root of 2 times the square root of 25. Is there a square root of 25?
5 times 5.
Yeah, so this square root of 25 is a normal 5. And that normal 5 gets multiplied by the other normal 6. We give you 30, and this little square root of 2 does not have any friends to combine with, so 30 times the square root of 2. Or 30 square roots of 2, which Noah Clausing would say, if I asked for a real number, would be what? If I gave you 30 square roots of $2, how much money am I going to give you? See, Caleb Cook right now looks like your typical 7th grader. Look at him. Does not that look drab or... Noah Clausing, I was back to your question. I did forget about it. 30 square roots of 2 is about what? Huh? There's really not a wrong answer. There's a bad answer, but it is wrong. 15. Would 15 be a good answer, Claire? Why not? 30 square roots of 2's. Yeah, if it was 30 times the square root of 1, it'd be at least 30 because the square root of 1 is 1, but it's actually more than that because the square root of 2 ends up being like what? 1.2 is a 1.4? No. 1.5 is 225, so. You know this has to be 30 times what? 1.2 times 1.2 is what? 1.4. 1.4 times 1.0 is 1.6. 1.5 is too big. It's got to be at least 32, 33 or something like that. Any other questions, lest we digress anymore? Taylor Rice, any questions? Your water bottle seems to be a distraction for most. I don't think there's any water left in it. Is there? Did you get any water on that last sip? Stretzel.
How do you do number 17?
Number 17. Well, how do you think we should do it? I know you're going to say, well, I wouldn't ask if I do, but if I have this 0.05, don't let the decimal scare you. What would be the first thing you do? If your goal is, yep,
Subtract 0.05.
correct. You want the x term to stay, so you subtract 0.05. I subtract 0.05, what am I left with? 0.06, right? So now I have 0.2x equals that. I would do what?
Divide.
5.2. So it's 0.06 divided by 0.2. Move the decimal one place, decimal one place, decimal goes here, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So it's 23. Lackluster. Nothing ever really changes. Hot. Going once, going twice. 2 times. I will.